What's up? What's up? John Mark's spot, Delco Steve is also here. As yes, I have go to shopmando.com. Let's see, that's what happens with the virtual background. See, it disappears from here, right? We're gonna have to get rid of that. I have the equipment for my new studio. I just need to actually set it up. John Marks and Delco Steve on a John Marks spot Wednesday. What's up, Delco Steve?
What up?
So I ordered all the shit for this home studio. Black Gritty's actually like give me some pointers because I love what his shop looks like, and he spent a lot more money than I did on his stuff. So he's like, get this. So I'm like, so what do you use at the desk? And he sent me. It's like a workbench from Home Depot, but it's on wheels, which is exactly what I need. Because I need to be able to wheel this thing out and then put it behind the bar and then wheel it back in because I got shit on top of shit down here, right? So it's like that's perfect. So I ordered it I ordered it online. They give you a week to pick it up. So naturally, when you think I went to pick it up? What was that? So I ordered this thing from Home Depot online, and they give you a week to pick it up. So of course, I'm like the last day I'm going to pick it up. And I have like 10 minutes to spare because I had to pick my daughter up from nursery school. And I go in and they wheel it out to me. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was coming in like a box. Not that I wanted to put it together because I probably couldn't have because I suck. But I'm like, all right, cool. And then I wheel it out to the car and I look at it. This fucking thing was all marked up. Scratches, nicks, like the corner of everything. So I don't know if it was it was probably a return that got, that just got messed up. So anyway, long story short, because it was assembled, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep it because this would have taken, my wife would have had to assemble it, honestly, looking at it. Because Grady told me he got the same bench. He's like, it comes in 3 boxes. And I'm like, oh, no, hell no. So it's a little bit damaged, but I got the desk. So I will have a setup soon. I just have to actually get the setup.
Why don't you just go inside and be like, hey, there's marks all over this, and they probably would have gave you like half off.
So honestly, just to get this damn thing in my car.
you scratched it 10 more times?
No, I didn't do any more damage, but I didn't do any more damage, but I had to take out every seat in the car to get it in. So not only did I have to, I was already cutting it close to pick up my daughter. Now I had to go home to get it out of my car so I can put the seat in. So I have 2 car seats, 2 kids seats in the front seat because there's nowhere else to put it. And this damn thing's so big, it's angled and it's jammed in. I didn't think it was good. So if it didn't fit, I would have went back in. But so I'm like, all right, do I go back in now or do I just say F it and call? So I actually called on my way home. And I was like, yo, this is bullshit. This is clearly either a floor model that's scratched up or it was returned. It was put together and returned. And they're like, oh, well, go return it. And I'm like, yeah, no. No. Yeah, so I was trying to get $50 off.
You probably could take a picture of it and send it in because we've done that where we buy, because we're there all the time, but we buy stuff and it's like, oh, it's a little messed up, and it's they mark it down.
Yeah. Mark's just follow the directions. Hey, Vince, it looks like Chinese to me with directions. There are no directions. Are you like this at all where directions? I don't look at directions. I just need to open something up and put it together. And
No,
if
I
go
follow. I follow the directions.
yeah, well, that's why you're like a contractor, and I'm not. That's why I'm an idiot. I don't know if I could have put it together.
Yeah,
properly.
I follow the directions for everything to a T because I think knowing too much about putting stuff together, you think you can just start doing it. And then when you get to the end, it's like, oh, what's this piece? And you figure out that it was step 3 and you missed it.
Instructions, not directions. Am I, I'll take off they're saying the streaming looks bad. I think it's just the stupid background that I put up for somebody. So I'll have a real background. I got a professional light and everything. It looks awesome. So
that's a little better.
Anyway, there you go. I do not drive a minivan. I drive a Highlander. My wife drives a minivan, which I drive sometimes. But I certainly couldn't have fit it in that. No, like I thought it would fit with just it's 3 rows, the Highlander. I thought it would fit with just the back row down. And then I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna fit. Well, maybe it'll fit if I just put the one seat down. And it didn't fit with that. So I had to take the damn things off. But anyway, what's up, Delco Steve? That's gonna be in your future, brother. With all these car seats and
we're gonna start looking for. She's due for a new car anyway, so that's gonna be the kid mobile, and I'll use my truck for when I need to drive around.
You have a pickup truck?
Yeah.
You have a Ford F-150?
Nah, I'm Team Chevy all the way.
Oh, Chevy truck. Look at you, Mr. America.
Yeah, Silverado. I got the Silverado and I got my Camaro, and I'm trying to get her to get Traverse, a Chevy Traverse or Equinox. So
yeah, they're good. They're nice. I like Chevys. I had a Chevy. I forget what dealership I was doing stuff with way back, but I had a Chevy for maybe like 3 months. I liked it. It was good. I think it drove nice. Were you wearing a Cooper DeJean t-shirt? What you got?
Yeah, buddy.
Look at that. Cooper DeJean is not a safety. Oh wow! Look at that.
Just came in the mail the other day.
Yeah, nice.
So I figured rock it for the show.
There you go. Now is that true? You park you put your lawn chair out?
Or
on your lawn?
No, what the funny thing is, so I have driven my truck like into my front yard from because the side of my house is just like a gradual incline from the driveway to the front of the house. So like when I was like unloading stuff or demoing stuff at my house, I would literally drive up my front lawn and just like carry stuff in and out the front door instead of having to carry it all the way around.
Smart. So are you a guy that would rather, because like I know people that would rather spend 5 minutes trying to get every bag in their hand so they can walk in on one trip rather than take 3 trips and just be in and out. Because I'm going to carry 30 bags at once. I'm going to take 10 bags 3 times.
It depends.
Or whatever.
Like if I go to BJ's, they don't have bags, so I just do boxes. So
that's the worst.
I try to figure out as much as I can carry at once in that situation. Or so that's multiple trips, but it's still trying to carry as much as possible. But if it's like grocery store and I got 6 bags, it's 1 trip.
Right.
For sure. With like my backpack on my back and my lunchbox on my shoulder. Yeah.
I
one
can
trip.
totally see that.
Team 1 trip.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean is not the new TJ McConnell. And I understand what you're saying, Chris, with skill. He's the new Chase Utley. Let's face it. Now, if he doesn't continue to be a great player, he's not going to be looked at the city. Chase is an icon in the city. Let me tell you something.
Correct.
Cooper DeJean has a chance of being an icon in the city. He had a fucking pick 6 in the Super Bowl, for God's sakes.
Like, quite literally.
Jesus. Oh, my God. Yeah, Vince is definitely a 30 bags once.
Well,
guy.
He could just start piling them on his back. So
off 1 year. Ray J. Brown, I remember you from before. You're a pain in the ass. You were arguing about Howie Roseman being a good GM or whatever. Yeah, off of 1 year, because we only have 1 year. Like, you're the guy that says, when I was on sports radio, you're the guy that's like, why can't you just give him more time? It's not the end of the season yet. I have to do a show every day. I have 4 hours to fill every day. That's why. I don't get to wait to the end of the season like you. Right? I gotta talk now. So yeah, off of 1 year, the fact that he was the highest graded cornerback by PFF, he had a friggin' pick 6 in the Super Bowl. The defense turned around when he actually came in for Avonte Maddox. Yeah, off of 1 year. As I said, if he continues to be a great player, yes, he will be an icon in this town. They just won a Super Bowl, for God's sakes. What's wrong with you?
As cool as he is as being the number 1 ranked PFF cornerback, did you see Saquon Barkley's rating for PFF?
17th or something.
I think it was 13.
So I knew it was something in the teens. It's like, all right, that's kind of nuts.
PFF is so trash sometimes.
Yeah, I remember one year it had Deshaun Jackson, and this is like totally random, but had Deshaun Jackson as a better run blocking wide receiver than like, I don't know,
Hines Ward.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lunch pail wide receiver who's clearly better. But anyway, by the way, if you go to my to my Twitter page, my internet's freezing. Are you getting this?
You're a little glitchy.
Am I?
Yep.
There's nothing else running in my house right now. My wife's asleep. There's no other devices running. That's very, very odd.
Yeah, you're a little glitchy.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, your sound's coming across fine. Just you're glitching a little bit.
All right. Well, I feel glitchy right now. But if you go to shopmando.com, there's an actual link. If you go to my Twitter page, because I'm doing these commercials now, Delco Steve. I don't know if you've seen them. So I have one more Mando to do. But let me see if I can play it. All right, here it is. Let me see if I can share it, so you guys can tell me if you think it's a good job or not. All right, get rid of that. All right, let me see. Control S. No. What is it to share? Shift S.
Yeah. I just do present.
Oh, that's right. You do present. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, let's see.
Number 1, whole body deodorant. Use it everywhere. Fits, package, feet, everywhere. And the Mando Starter Pack is a great way to find out what Mando is all about. And it's a great deal, which I'll tell you about in a second.
Here you go.
But here's what you get to start.
Here we go. Look at this.
All right, guys. This is what you get in the Mando Starter Pack.
Now it froze.
The Mando.
Seriously?
Yep.
All right. This is awesome. Why is it freezing? So there you go. So shopmando.com, use the code MARKS, MARKS, and you get, it's a great deal. Free shipping, an extra $5 off. Mando. There you go. Well, that's what I'm playing. I'm playing Mando. Wait, 72-hour odor control. Are you a stinky guy, Delco Steve?
No, I don't think so.
Moderate?
I put deodorant on in the morning. I'm good the rest of the day.
Okay. But if you went one day without, like, if you didn't put deodorant
on,
in the morning,
Oh, that's not good. Yeah,
right.
That's not good.
Mando, I can go more than a day because I'm like that. And by the way, I can't use every deodorant. I got to Degree. I got to use certain deodorants. The other ones don't do anything. But if I put this on and I like on the weekend and I'm like, I'm not taking a shower and putting deodorant on, I'm cool, man. I smell great. Mando's really good. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I've been using freaking Axe deodorant since like I was 16.
Oh, you an Axe? Do you use the spray too, the cover up?
No. I mean, back in the day in high school when I was smoking cigs and had a canister of that stuff in my car, thinking I was getting away with it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take my phone off of Wi-Fi and see if that does anything. If not, anyway. All right. So what else do we have here? So I mean, it's pretty funny that the entire league, and I wasn't living online today, so I didn't see if any other coaches. I'm assuming that non-soft coaches aren't going to be like, yeah, they should change the rules on the tush push, right? Like Sean McDermott comes out and says that he literally came out and said that he's been worried about injuries for years. There's actual data on how many injuries happen from the tush push, and the answer is 0.
Yep.
Before Chris friggin' Jones lined up sideways and got hurt in the Super Bowl, there hasn't been one injury. So this crap about player safety and everything else, Sean McDermott comes out, I'm worried about injuries. There hasn't been injuries. What are you talking about? You idiot. And I like Sean McDermott. And then, what's his name? Raheem Morris talked about how it's not a football play. By the way, he's best friends with James Franklin, Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons head coach.
Well, explains why I don't like either one of them.
Makes sense, right? And then Andy Reid came out and like he didn't throw cold water on it. I think he brought up the injury aspect to it, but he also said he would run it if he did it as well as the Eagles. So like the sour grapes out there, and believe me, Steve, I get it and I love it because people don't know what to do with themselves. The Eagles are the best team in the league. The Eagles are the best organization in football, despite the rankings that came out today from the Players Association, right? Like they look at the Eagles and they're like, holy crap. And they have this tush push that's so annoying, but it's very difficult to stop. And everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. So now everybody, they hate the Eagles. They hate Eagles fans. We're annoying. I get it. I don't disagree. So now we have this annoying tush push play that you just do whatever you want to.
That everybody would love to have.
And no one else can do it. So here's one of my favorite things. No, not that one. Here's one of my favorite things. I mean, it's really not a football play. Okay, well, why is it not a football play? Why not?
So the fact that a QB sneak, it's a QB sneak with just the added push. Like,
right.
It's the QB sneaks like we have freaking spike balls and throwaways that come on.
Let me ask you a question. Is handing the ball off to a white fullback who's slow and just runs into the pile, is that a football play?
Yeah, 100%.
Or putting an offensive lineman behind in the backfield and giving him the ball to run. So why is this not? Like I love and Raheem Morris said that like you're pushing the player and like that happens in games. When running backs get the ball, like think about it.
Yep.
Running back, whoever gets the ball and they run and they get stood up by the defense, but they keep churning their legs. What happens?
Everybody comes up behind them
and pushes them forward and gets a couple of extra yards.
I think it was not Dalvin Cook. James Cook this year had like a 25-yard run and his feet weren't even on the ground from like 2 yards past the line of scrimmage on. That like literally he was like raised up like he was crowd surfing and everybody was just pushing the pile forward. So like, that not a football call it back. It wasn't a football play.
It's just so annoying. And by the way, Chris, like anybody that comes out and says that like they should ban you being able to push the players from behind on offense forward, fine. Like ban the play if you want to or whatever. Here's the deal: it ain't going anywhere because they need 24 votes to pass any type of rule. So they would need 24 teams to sign off on saying no, you can't do this. I don't believe that's going to happen. I would be shocked. It's not going to happen this year. In the future, if other teams start doing it and it gets really, really annoying, then I could see them making a move. Or if there are injuries from it, then I could see them making a move. Like someone breaks their neck or something. Like, all right, then you're going to see like the league being like, we can't do this. But none of this is actually happening.
Well, didn't the Giants do it a couple years ago and had like 2 guys get hurt on 2 attempts?
But
like, something stupid.
I don't. Was it this or was it just a quarterback sneak?
I think they were attempting to do the tush push and they just did it like so poorly. It didn't work. It's just like they had a guy like get hurt in practice doing it or something. I forget what it was.
Well, Vince is right. The league doesn't even have to come to a vote. No, like they won't unless they know that they'll actually pass it. For the most part, they have the discussions, but then it doesn't go up for a formal vote. But I think in the future they could end up banning it. But I mean, the reality is right now. I honestly, and I believe this, and I'm not saying this just because I'm an Eagle fan. And I would, if I wasn't an Eagles fan, I would probably be like, yeah, stop it. Like you guys are being soft. Stop it. There's one team that can do this. The freaking Bills try. You know what? If the Bills could execute this play, guess where the Bills would have been? In the Super Bowl playing the Eagles, most likely. If they could convert this freaking play. But I actually think it's great for the league. And here's why. And the NFL is always going to be king. So that doesn't matter. But you need a team. You need a dynasty type team. You need a team that everybody's going to hate, right? Like this year with the Chiefs, everybody wanted the Chiefs to lose. The Patriots for many years. Parity's great, but having a team that has multiple Super Bowls is better because you're always going to have the parity. It's the NFL. But having a team that's always there and annoying like the Eagles is great. Now they have this annoying play that no one seems to be able to stop. And it's like, well, how do you stop it? And all the teams are trying to figure out a way to stop it. Chris Jones is lining up sideways. They make such a big deal about this stupid assisted quarterback sneak, right? So, yeah, like I actually think it's very intriguing. I think it's good for the league because it gives another reason to root against the Eagles. You need a team to root against. Everybody tunes in for the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys. And it's better when the Cowboys aren't good because we can make fun of them. But you need a team to hate. And the Chiefs were that team for the last couple of years, and the Eagles can be that team now. It's awesome.
No, I fully heartedly agree on that. If like hypothetically speaking, say the Bills beat the Chiefs, that Super Bowl would have been completely flipped on everyone was rooting for. Like the same way everyone was rooting for us to beat the Chiefs, everybody would have been rooting for the Bills to beat us because everybody hates us. The fact that everyone just hated the Chiefs a little bit more is the only reason why we had more support this Super Bowl go around.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah, no. What other team would the public been rooting for the Eagles over? No, like nobody. Just the Chiefs.
Yep, 100%.
Probably.
Yeah, I think any other team in the AFC would have been, like when you see the map of like the memes on Instagram or whatever, it's like, oh, the states that are rooting for the Eagles, and or like the whole country was green, and then the Chiefs or Missouri was the only red state. It would have been completely opposite,
right?
If the Eagles were playing anybody else,
right? Exactly right. All right. Also, they had the NFL Players Association report card came out, and the Eagles finished 22nd.
How do they feel like they never finished like that great in those things?
They don't. No, they don't. For sure. You know who always finishes great? Dolphins.
I was gonna say, don't the Dolphins always finish good?
Like 2 straight years they've been number 1. So
no state income tax and nice weather probably makes everyone a little bit more pleasant.
So think about it, right? It's about facilities. It's about how they're treated, and the locker room, training staff, coach, owner, whatever. And a lot of it's also travel, right? So the Eagles got an F in team travel. Players feel that their team's travel schedule is not very efficient, and also that they should get first-class seats on team flights instead of the coaching staff. So they went to Brazil, and they didn't have first class, and they're probably pissed about it. So, like, there you go. They want first class seats. They don't want to sit in a regular plane that the Eagles charter or whatever. So I guess that could be an upgrade. But here are the categories: treatment of families, nutrition, dietitian, food, dining area, locker room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, team travel, head coach, ownership. Ownership got a B. Head coach got an A-. Team travel was an F. That was 30th.
So, but like, does ownership get a ding because of all the other stuff? Like,
probably.
But it's like, we talk about this all the time, where we would take Jeffrey Lurie as our owner over 90% of like owners in professional sports. So so that would mean he's an A to me.
He's an A if they had better facilities and a better plane. Because the fact that you got a B, but everybody's bitching about all this stuff, tells you exactly what you need to know. That they like Jeffrey Lurie and they feel like, hey, like, look at our team. I mean, like, if you're a player, how could you not love the talent that's on the team? But that's not what they're looking at. Right. We look at that. We're looking at, can they win? We don't care about the weight room or the training staff or the dining area or any of that crap. And that's what they care about. So treatment of families, and I think they were bad with this last year. They don't offer daycare during game days, I guess. So they got a C- on that. Food dining area A-, locker rooms a D. So I mean, here's the reality: the Link is old, and NovaCare is old. Think about it. In the past 20 years since they've been built, like, everything's different now, right? Like my house was built in 1999, and I have a nice house. But if you buy a more modern house, everything's different. And like I kind of have, like, I don't have an open floor plan, but I don't have a lot of smaller rooms like a house that's built in the 70s or 60s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I have a more modern house. If you look at a house that's built today, it looks much different than my house. Same thing with Lincoln Financial Field. Same thing with NovaCare. Everything's different. So they have a smaller locker room. So they get a D+ for that. Training room B-, training staff B+, weight room B, team travel F. So really, if you look at it, everything.
I feel like that's an easy one to fix. The travel, like, just
it is.
I mean, I'm gonna say this like I had the money to do it, but how expensive can
buy a plane?
To buy a plane would be how many people are traveling on game day with this, like, the team? There's 53 players. Is there 50 coaches?
I mean, and it's just support staff and stuff like that. It's got to be close to it, right?
You would think. So say you got a plane with 150 seats in it. Is that enough?
Yeah.
And then just do everything with 2s instead of 3s, and then everyone feels like they're got a bigger seat. I don't know.
3 examples of how to help things: providing childcare on game days, like most NFL teams do, prioritizing first-class seating for players instead of the coaches, and staggering lunch times to avoid overcrowding in the cafeteria. Oh, man. These guys got it rough. Too busy in the cafeteria for the food that this great food that people are making for them. Man, unbelievable. I could see being a player and looking up and seeing, like Jonathan Gannon sitting in first class while I'm back sitting next to some fat guy.
Yeah, they got Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, and Lane Johnson sitting next to each other, and with Dickerson sitting middle since he's used
and
to
Kevin Patullo sleeping in first class. Oh man, that's awesome.
God, I couldn't even. Can you imagine going to get on a plane and Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson are window aisle seats, and you have the middle seat? It's like,
no, that would be the worst. Christ, I hate sitting next to anybody in the middle seat, but yeah, two monsters like that. Well, they can't have them sitting 3 across.
No,
I mean, that's ridiculous. You'd have to have your own row.
Yeah, but if you have your own row at that point, like, how do you not have a big enough plane to just have all first class seats?
Well, because they need to upgrade their travel. I'm not like I don't.
Isn't buying a new plane a write off anyway?
Yeah, but like I'm sure they don't want to deal with having their own plane. I think the Patriots have their own plane.
They do.
But you can charter any type of plane you want. You say to whoever you're chartering from, like, hey, this is what we need. They could do it. It's just going to cost a lot of money. Well, they just got to. I mean, didn't Jeffrey Lurie just get a Brinks truck full of money from people buying in?
Yeah, they bought 8%, and they got what, $800 million or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably wrong, but who knows?
Arizona's last again.
80 million? I think it was 80 million.
No, there's more than that. 80 million is peanuts, bro.
If it's 10, I'm trying to figure out how much they sold, because 800 million can't be right. Because
no, I think it is. How much?
The team's not worth 8 billion.
It's close.
I don't know.
It's 8.3. The valuation is 8.3 billion.
Oh, cool. I had one number right.
NFL approves sale of minority stake in the Eagles at 8.3 billion.
Okay, he just got $830 million. You can't tell me a plane is, what's it, 50 to customize it at most?
I don't know. What's the commercial airline?
I feel like 50 million is ridiculous. Like, that's a ridiculous number.
But you also have to maintain it and stuff, and you're not using it. Like, Jeffrey Lurie's not flying around on a Lear jet. You know what I mean? Like, he's not flying around on an Airbus 320 or whatever.
You could freaking rent it out. Freaking have Eagles parties on it.
Just what they want to do. $400 million for a large long-haul airliner like the Boeing 777.
$400 million?
A mid-sized Boeing 737 costs around $100 million. Yeah, they don't want to deal with that, bro. No, you just spend the nut to whatever it costs to use it 20 times a year, 15 times a year. But
how did he get back?
Man, I don't know. All right, well, there you go. Who? Ray J's back in?
Yeah.
No, put him on timeout because people are saying he's annoying, and he is. They said Pat's planes are cheap. They sell for like $12 million each. Probably. Yeah, whatever. But listen, I fly coach. I take Dramamine. I go right to sleep. So yeah, I don't really care.
I'm sorry, AJ. I'm sorry. I don't know what the price of planes are. It's not what I do on a daily basis.
It's not.
Like, my bad. Like, sorry. But I'm with you. I hit my weed pen and I'm out cold for the rest of the plane.
Yeah, it's like because flying to Clearwater is usually like Tampa's like 2:45, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then a lot of times if it's like you're delayed leaving the runway, by the time I get on that plane, I don't speak to the flight attendant. I don't speak to anybody. I don't get a drink. I don't get peanuts, nothing. I'm asleep. I time it to where I take the Dramamine. The only time that sucks is if you don't make it on the plane and they delay you kind of last minute. So I'll take the Dramamine like 40 minutes before we're supposed to get on the plane. So by the time I hit the plane, I'm like slobbering on the window. Always get window seat too.
Oh, I'm a big window seat guy. But
because we're also not big guys too. So like, you know what I mean? Like we can, that's almost like being in a bed if you have the window seat.
100%. I have a rule that I'm not allowed to fall asleep until the plane is in the air, because I was sitting on the tarmac at Philly, passed out, woke up 3 hours later when the plane took off, and
Thinking you landed?
thinking I landed, and the girl was like, "No, you've literally been," like, the girl sitting next to me was like, "No, you've literally been asleep the entire time. We've all been miserable sitting here on the tarmac." And then she passed out for the whole flight, and I was wide awake for the whole flight.
Oh,
Like,
that
this
sucks.
So,
That sucks.
new rule: not allowed to fall asleep until the plane's in the air, no matter how tired I am.
Yeah, 6'8", the Vinces of the world, and Jordan Mailata. That's got to be brutal. I mean, even for a baseball game, man. I don't know if it was last year. It might have been the year before.
Seats, I mean,
But
that's all.
We were in a pack. Was it the World Series? Was it a World Series game, or it might have been a playoff game? But I was sitting next to a big dude, and there's two ways you can sit if you're a big dude, or you're next to a big dude. Actually, it's up or back, because you can't sit middle because he's taking up half of your seat. So you got to either sit like ahead of him in the seat, or you got to be behind him, because he can't help but be busting over in the seat to his left and his right, and it's the worst. And you should definitely, not that the guy should have to pay anything, but they should give you something for it. Like, if you go on a plane and you're next to a fat guy, you should at least get 25 to 30% off your flight. You know what I mean? Like, if you're
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, you should. Bullshit.
You know, the first time I used to be vehemently against like Spirit and like Frontier, because I was just like, the seats are bullshit. But my cousin is like a notorious cheapskate, like got me to do Spirit. He gets up to like the aisle seat, like comfy, perfect accommodations. I end up between these two biggest women I've ever seen in my life. And they were sitting there eating the entire time. I wanted to die. It was just like, no.
Yeah, I can't.
And they were friends. They were friends. I'm like, come on, can't you sit next to each other?
Oh God. Yeah, you can't. I was looking to go to Florida the week of Easter, leading up to Easter for a couple days, and like airfare is so expensive these days. Before, you'd feel like you'd be like, wow, you get down to Florida for $300. I know it's supply and demand, but I mean, it's not too bad. But you're looking at, like, for nonstops, you're looking at like $600 round trip. Spirit, you're looking at like $200 round trip, but then you got to pay for it. Like, you got to pay for a seatbelt, you pay for everything on this thing. And I took Spirit before, and I said never again. I hated it. It's like you're on a lawn chair. The worst.
When I fly Frontier, it's literally with just a backpack.
Frontier. I'm not exactly. I would do it if it was me. I'm not doing it with 3 kids and my wife.
Well, when I just went down to Florida with Erica, it would have been $15 less for her to check a bag to fly both ways than it was for her to fly both ways.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I'm like you want to pay? It was like $165, and it was for our tickets, and I think the bags were $70 each way. Like,
yeah,
just put myself in the bag and send me like in the bag.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we could have done that. All right. Sorry. Yeah, my wife had to get a migraine tonight, so I got the baby monitor down here. So I had to put all 3 of them to bed, and they were actually well behaved. I made it almost at 9:00. It was almost.
It's a goddamn miracle.
Well, I was actually ready, but I had to make coffee, and then I got distracted with something, and I was like, "Oh, it's 9:02. Maybe I should
find my way to the basement."
Yeah, looks like the Sixers were about to lose. They actually, they did. They lost to the Knicks 110-105. They made it close.
They were in the lead.
Yeah, good loss. Really, really good loss, man. You don't want to win these games.
Nope.
Good loss. Sixers now 20-37 on the season. Paul George, 25 points. Tyrese Maxey, 30. Oubre, 27 in a losing effort. Good. I like seeing that. Did you hear Paul George?
Yep.
For the game? Or on his
podcast?
On his podcast.
Yeah, when he was talking about like there's nothing meaningful to play for, really.
So he said he's going to stop doing his podcast, or he's not going to do his podcast as more, and he's going to put more priority on the Sixers now. So I'm gonna play it here. Yeah, he decided when till they were 20 and 36 to put a priority on basketball as opposed because for a while he had more podcast episodes than games played for the Sixers. This idiot. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, here we go.
Up to this point, man, it hasn't been what we envisioned. I know my goal when I first signed with Philadelphia was to bring a championship to these amazing fans here. I still remain positive about that, and that is still the case and where I'm coming from. With that being said, though, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight, I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and, help this squad make a push towards our goal to finish the season out and give ourselves a chance to be in contentions to compete for a championship. I won't front. The desire to get back to shooting in person with my guys as well is the forefront of, this hiatus as well. I look forward to us three being back together and doing this as we once started this. So we'll be back on that note. Be sure to lock in with us because we got some big things in store in our future. In the meantime, be easy from podcast.
But it's literally, 2 days after he said that they won't have anything to play for this season. But
he's now focusing on basketball, and he's going to stop. Why stop doing the podcast now? Do the podcast now. The season's over. Lose. Take the rest of the season off, dude.
Well, he legit said it himself. So, I don't get why he would all of a sudden – that was just literally 100% 180 from what he said the other day.
He seems like a nice guy. I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't want to – I do not even want to talk about the Sixers. I don't. I don't.
You don't want to go to the game for $7 to sit in the lower level
bro. It was $35 for club level for club seats $35.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, not that I thought about going, but I looked at it and I'm like, damn, $35. Like probably with fees and everything, it's like $42 or $45 a ticket. Now they were down by 50 in that game. So that wouldn't have necessarily been a great game to go to. But.
I mean, it's just embarrassing, though.
It is.
I don't know, man. They got to do something.
Yeah, like me not pay attention to them anymore.
Oh, yeah. I'm completely fine with not paying attention to them.
Me too. What's going on with your Flyers, man?
Dude, back-to-back 6-goal games. Let's go.
Oh,
we're back.
Awesome.
No, they're like 5 points out of the playoffs right now. So.
Are they?
Yeah. Mitchkov's had 2 great games since the All-Star break. He looks energized, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I lost desire to watch them. I guess it's because they're not like in the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, leading up to the All-Star break, I don't blame you whatsoever. But they went into the All-Star break with beating the Penguins, and they came out and they waxed the Oilers 6-3, and it probably wasn't even that close. But you're playing McDavid and Drysdale or Draisaitl, but.
Right.
And it's like so playing 2 of the best players in the world and you win 6-3. Can't complain against that. And then you come back and you beat your rival 6-1. Also can't complain about that.
So they are.
And they play the Penguins tomorrow night again.
5 points out of the wild card.
Yep.
How many games left? Like 20?
I think like 30-ish.
How many games did they play? 82?
Yeah. So like probably
they played
25.
59 games so far. So 23 games left. There's time.
Yeah, there's definitely the thing with there's just so many teams bunched up in that area. So if you lose 2 in a row, you're losing ground somewhere.
Right.
So you got to limit the back-to-back, rough games, which has pretty much been this team's MO all year round. It's like they can't win on back-to-back nights. It's just, I don't know. I'm just hoping they look halfway decent down the stretch and make it interesting. And if not, no big deal. Just run into next year. But I would like to see them contend a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I thought this was I thought this was the year that they were making the playoffs. At least that's what you thought going in. Agreed.
And then you had your goalie injuries at the beginning of the year, and Fedotov didn't look great at the beginning of the year. They put themselves behind the 8 ball pretty much in the first 10 games of the season, and. It's been uphill sledding since then. And you can't thankfully they haven't had a 10-game losing streak like they have in every other year for the last 4 or 5 years. But, they still had 5-game losing streaks that are, lost 5 out of 7 or only got points in 2 games out of 9. There's just not the sustain. They don't have the offensive firepower to have these games where they let up on defense, and they have games where they gave up 15 shots, but 5 of them were awesome opportunities, and they all went in the net. It's just, so they really need to work on getting more offense into the system. So when the defense does break down, they at least have a shot in those games.
All right. Well, hopefully they can get it together. It'd be nice to have a playoff run. Last 10 games. Come on now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, the last 2 games were a fun watch. They dominated both games. They put up 12 goals in 2 games. So they played the Penguins again tomorrow night. The Penguins are pretty much dead in the water. They look like they gave up. So maybe a good opportunity to jump on them again, and you have a 3-game winning streak with a lot of confidence. Never know what can happen.
No,
the Blues won the Stanley Cup. The Blues won the Stanley Cup from last place in January.
Really?
Yeah, the year they won. Won the
Chief,
Stanley Cup
with Chief as the coach, with Burby.
Yep. They fired their head coach, promoted Chief. They were in dead last. The first game of Bennington's career was against the Flyers. He had a freaking shutout, and they went on a run from there on. That was the year the dude put like $100 on, or he put $400 on the Blues to win when they were in last place, and it paid out a ridiculous amount of money. And went to Game 7 in the finals against the Bruins and won. So all you got to do is get in, baby.
Yeah, I know what wins in football. I know what wins in baseball. I don't know what wins in hockey. I don't. The Flyers haven't been able to figure out for 50 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally 50 years.
Pretty much.
What else do we have here? Put $200 on the Flyers right now. Who knows?
You want to see what it does?
Yeah, check it out.
I wish I was flush with cash like that I could do stupid shit like that.
Yeah, like who in their right mind puts $400 on the Blues when they're in last place? An idiot. That's who does that.
A rich idiot now.
A rich idiot now, but an idiot. Yeah.
Let's see. You make 60 grand.
That's not bad.
Yep, 60 grand.
All right, go for it, AJ. Garth Snow, who had the 2x4s in his hockey jersey. Him and Hextall. They were good. They were good teams. I used to watch a lot of hockey back then. For sure.
I think you should tune in tomorrow night. I think you'll be entertained.
Yeah.
It's a Hulu game.
They play on Hulu?
Well, ESPN Plus, but yes.
I have the bundle.
It's the easiest way to get through it is through Hulu.
It's through Hulu? Okay.
Yeah. At least I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, because who was it? Someone at work was talking about the Union game was on, like it's on Peacock, but it's on the paid level. So
okay.
You can't just have the free Peacock and go in and watch the game. You have to actually, it's on whatever the pay tier. It's like, hang on a second. MLS, which I think MLS is great. I think it's a legit league. I've been to games. I love it. I don't watch it, but you know what I mean? Like I think it's a really good league. There's no freaking way you should have to pay to see your team play. There's no freaking way you should have to pay to see anybody play. All right. Maybe if you're out of market and you want to get the league pass so you can watch everything, or you want to be able to watch everything, sure. But you shouldn't have to pay Peacock to be able to watch your freaking team play.
Like so if you have Peacock and you're in Philly, you should get the Union game. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to watch your team. It's a joke. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't watch it? They're like, yeah, you gotta. I didn't see the game because I wasn't, I'm not paying for Peacock. I'm not paying for Peacock either. Last year, was it 2 years ago with the playoff game on Peacock? Did they do that? They didn't do that this year, right? It was 2 years ago. You needed to pay for Peacock. Guess what game I didn't watch? That game. I'm not paying for Peacock. No, nothing's I'm paying for.
Yeah, I think I ended up going to the bar at that point for that one.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
I just totally blanked. Go ahead on the next.
That's right. Yeah, the NFL blackout rule. They used to. I remember the Eagles. When you didn't sell out your stadium, you couldn't watch it, and it was supposed to be incentive to get fans to be like, "Hey, listen, you better go to the game, or you can't watch it on TV." So what used to happen was if there wasn't a ton of tickets that weren't sold, like the local Chevy dealers would buy the remaining tickets. And then they would be
And
like, the
the
game's on today because of your local Chevy dealers or whatever. So there you go. Yeah, the NFL has evolved quite a bit since those days.
Yeah, I vaguely remember the tarps coming out for the upper sections of some stadiums.
Yep. Yeah, and Tim's right. The early game, because they used to play before Labor Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, and yeah, you would get a lot of places that weren't sold out. NFL was a different league back then. You're never going to have that now. Where you worry about blackout rules.
Yeah, I mean, you got psychos like me that are watching every game and that they could get their hands on. So.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, you can put whatever shitty game you want on at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm watching.
Oh, 100%. I'm setting an alarm and I'll be up for it.
Couple more things here. Free agency starting coming up in I guess like 2 weeks away now. I guess not far away.
The 11th,
not next week, but the following week because they start the tampering.
I think it's like the 10th. I think.
All right, well, let me see because there's only 30 days has September, April, June, and November. So the 28th. Yeah, so it's not next week, it's the following week. So yeah, 2 Mondays from now, it's the start of tampering. There's new contract projections that have been put out by PFF that make more sense than some stuff that was out there before. So let me give you here's my prediction on what's going to happen with the Eagles in free agency this year. Zach Bond comes back on like a 3-year, $40 million contract, something like that with like $25 million guaranteed. Josh Sweat, gone. Milton Williams, gone. And I think Mekhi Becton's gonna be
he's coming back.
The market's gonna dictate whether he comes back or not.
Well, I swear to God, I heard him say he would come back for a discount.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a discount. I love this. He's coming back on a discount, so people think he's going to just take whatever the Eagles offer him because he loves it here.
I didn't say that. You know what I mean.
So the projection that PFF has out, and we know PFF, we only use it if it fits our argument,
fits our narrative.
Right. It's 3 years, $30 million, $18 million guaranteed. So that puts him in. So that's essentially a 2-year contract, right?
I would do that.
Right. So that's a 2-year contract. Here's why I think I've amended my opinion on Becton coming back.
Yeah.
Because so what's the Eagles' most potent play on offense?
and we're going full circle here.
The tush push.
Is it the tush push?
Dude, if you get it 3rd and 2, they're getting a first down. If you get it at the 2-yard line on 3rd down, they're getting a touchdown. So if you know that is really kind of
your bread and butter.
Yeah, if that's the identity of your team, which is, hey, we can run the ball and win. They just did it. Maybe you just sign a 360 big fat athletic guard and you put him out there to maul people.
Yep.
I wonder if there's a team out there that says, we're going to give you $25 million guaranteed, a 4-year contract. I don't think the Eagles will sign up for that. It's too much.
No, I 1,000% agree on that.
Yeah. If it's a 2-year deal for $10 million a year, essentially, because that's what that projection would be. It's all the guaranteed money. If you're guaranteeing 2 years of a $10 million contract, I think he's back.
Yeah. I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to ask for either from his perspective. It's not over the top. It's double his salary from last year, which was, a flyer of a contract anyway.
It's actually kind of less. It's actually a little bit less than a lot of these contracts for offensive guards are getting in free agency. He's a free agent. You look at the guaranteed
but he's
money
also
of these guys.
He's also 1 year into playing guard in his career.
He is.
And he is a reclamation project. Obviously, he's improved his stock, but he's not all of a sudden going to go to Lander Dickerson type money on free agency.
So there's 2 ways that when guys hit free agency, it's either they're getting paid for what they've done previously, or they're getting paid for what they're projected to do, right? And Becton, it would feel like if a team said, "Hey, we'll give you $25 million guaranteed," they're projecting. He was a high first-round draft pick. He's certainly big and athletic. It's a matter of he was with a shitty franchise, and that's where things went wrong. Look what happens when you put him with a good franchise like the Eagles. But I mean, I don't like I like. Do the Eagles even think he was that great of a player? I don't know. Fran Duffy of PHLY had said he had said looking at the film, he wasn't saying he wasn't good, but he questioned whether or not he was really worth all the money. If the Eagles felt like he was worth all that money.
Like kind of like a war, like a wins above replacement type thing. Like it's like, does he hit a certain criteria to make him like, oh, he's a 3, where if you have just an average guy in there, it's sort of thing. I don't know how that would work with football, but that same general idea.
I'm giving Dallas Goedert a little bit more guaranteed money to get to make him happy and get him back. This might be his last year coming up, but I need Dallas Goedert on this team. I remember what happened with Zach Ertz. Ertz was pissed because they had already drafted his replacement and they didn't want to give him a new contract, and he was unhappy that they didn't want to give him a new contract. The Eagles don't have a replacement on their roster right now for Dallas Goedert. That might be this draft, which is great, but you don't have a replacement. And the last thing I want is a Hunter Henry or some stiff like that getting signed in free agency. No. I know Dallas Goedert can't stay healthy, and that's a legitimate thing, but the dude's a mauler. He's great in the run game. He's a great blocker. And listen, when he's healthy, he can be dynamic in the passing, and they have to use him. But still, so I think he's back, and I hope they kind of give him a sweetener to make him happy to come back.
Yeah, I love Goddard. I want Goddard on this team for the foreseeable future until we draft the next stud. That's like I don't need him going anywhere until I know we have the next one in-house.
ESP says that Dallas could be gone. Yeah, I mean, he could be. It's not a lock that he's back. Are the Eagles just going to let him ride out the contract? How's Dallas Goedert going to feel about that? I mean, they don't have a replacement on the roster. That's a problem. Greg Calcaterra is fine as a second or a third tight end or whatever. No, I need Dallas Goedert back. Ertz is a free agent. I would not expect Zach Ertz to be back.
Nope.
In an Eagles uniform. I think there were some hurt feelings, not just from Zach Ertz. I think the organization didn't really like how things were handled. I mean, you saw what happened after the game with Nick Sirianni and Zach Ertz, and they kind of downplayed it afterwards or whatever. But I don't want to say there's bad blood, and I think that everything will be fine once he stops playing and he starts. I'm just saying that like there's might take a couple more years. I don't think he's coming back.
He said after the game, after they lost in the championship game, that he wished he could play his whole career with Washington and Jalen Daniels. I'm like, really, dude? Like, you won a freaking Super Bowl with us?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, it wasn't all bad. There was a lot of good in there too.
Yeah, his feelings are still hurt, which is fine. Like, the Eagles had an obvious need a tight end last year, and they didn't even think about bringing him back in here. And I think he goes back to Washington. It was a good spot for him, man. It's a good team down there.
I agree. I mean, like, what opportunities are you going to get to be that part of the offense with any other team? In all honesty,
yeah. So Delco Steve is going to be our mock drafter because nobody follows the all right. A lot of people follow the draft as much as Delco Steve, but we both love the NFL.
We're junkies.
Yes, we are. So So we'll be getting in the draft season after free agency starts.
Combine's this weekend, right?
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know about the combine is the media that goes for the combine. A lot of people leave before the testing actually starts, and guys not as many guys even work out. Like the top guys don't even work out anymore. But really, they're there to network. There's the St. Elmo's, the steakhouse that's in Indianapolis, where if you go in there at midnight or 2:00 in the morning, early part of this week, you'll see every GM and coach and assistant coach in there drunk. Maybe not all of them are drunk, but like it's notorious of a place where you go and you network and you get to know people or whatever. So the combine's really about, from a general manager standpoint, it's agents and it's other GMs like, hey, you're kind of being like, I could move down, or you're talking about AJ Brown, possibly trading for AJ Brown. So there's a lot of that stuff that goes on there.
My favorite thing is like picking out the guy that's just like the combine freak and being like, all right, that's the guy that's going to raise 3 rounds in the draft, go in the top 20, and you won't hear from him again after week 10.
Nope.
There's one every year. I love it.
Every year. Every year. As far as the draft, I mean, defensive line. And I think the Eagles are going to, that's the other part that I put in my predictions for free agency. They're going to have to get veteran guys in here. Because if you lose Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, I love Nolan Smith. I don't know if BG's coming back or whatever, but you need a couple other edge rushers. You're going to need another tackle in there. So I don't know if that's like a
Myles
one-year
Garrett?
contract. Yeah, so that's the other name. They're not trading for Myles Garrett.
I can't wait till it happens.
They're not trading for Myles Garrett. I heard Jeremy Fowler say on ESPN on Get Up the other day. He said that if Washington gets involved, which he expects them to be, that's where he thinks the Eagles will then jump in and get involved because they don't want Washington to happen. Washington to get them. I find it very hard to believe that Howie Roseman, who just won a Super Bowl, is not going to be pursuing Myles Garrett, and then Washington gets involved, and all of a sudden he's going to overpay and he's going to outbid Washington for Myles Garrett. I just don't believe that's happening.
I honestly don't think Washington has I don't know. I haven't looked into our draft stock yet coming up yet, but I feel like there's no way Washington has can have as many picks as we do, because Howie just accumulates them.
They have money, but yeah, I don't. If it's going to take a 1 and a 2, that's a 1 and a 2. Now you could make the argument and say, hey, let's say he makes $30 million a year. If they're going to pay Josh Sweat $20 million a year, an extra $10 million a year, you can get Myles Garrett. Josh Sweat's fine, but Josh Sweat's not going to be worth that contract. Josh Sweat is not going to finish the contract. Whatever contract he signs, wherever he signs, he will be cut before that first contract is over. Period. Javon Hargrave just got cut, and he couldn't stay healthy. And the Niners were good with him. He was a good player. Josh Sweat will not see the remainder of that contract. I think Milton Williams will. Milton Williams is younger and a better player.
Yes, I was about to say he's significantly younger at this point in his career.
Yeah, he's still coming off his rookie year. Josh Sweat's finishing up his second contract. So and Washington's been rumored to be on Josh Sweat. So let Sweat go to Washington and let Mailata or Lane Johnson maul them every game that they freaking play. And by the way, Myles Garrett's a great player. I'm not if Washington wants to go pay and give draft picks up for Myles Garrett, bring it. He doesn't have a great offensive line. Bring it. Myles Garrett's a great player. Bring it. I'm not giving up the draft picks for Myles Garrett. Absolutely not.
I think if you're going to do it, this would be the year to do it, where you're wasting 32 instead of a top 20 pick. So I mean, yeah, you're going to have to sweeten it up somehow, but
right.
You're not going to get a player of his caliber with any of those picks, probably. So, and if he comes in motivated and pissed off, and I feel like that just gives this team for next season a whole new dynamic where it's, we're not just running it back. We're trying to prove that we're great now. We're
I agree with you. I think that it's similar to Saquon, right? He was energized coming to a franchise like the Eagles. Yep. And you knew he was going to get a bump. You didn't realize it was going to be like that. Same thing with and I agree with you. Same thing with Myles Garrett. He comes in here and he's like, oh, now I'm with a real team and a real franchise, and they just won the Super Bowl. He comes in here and playing next to Jalen Carter. Yeah, he could easily have 15 sacks if he was to come to Philadelphia.
20. He has 15 on a shitty team where he doesn't play every game.
He's a hell of a talent, man.
I'm not saying okay, let me phrase what I'm saying about trading for him. It's if it's reasonable, if it's a first this year, a first next year, and throw in some auxiliary picks, I'm doing that. If they're asking for 4 first-round picks, then obviously I'm not doing it. But I feel like you saw Jamal Adams get traded for 2 first-round picks to Seattle from the Jets. It's I would 1,000% do that trade for Myles Garrett.
Right. I would not. Hargrave makes sense on a short-term contract. Reddick is not going to be back. I would be shocked if Reddick came back. Again, that was one of the – and by the way, he's an idiot. How he handled last year with the Jets. He's an idiot. He's his own worst enemy.
Oh, he's an idiot on how he handled everything. He could have been here for a Super Bowl freaking run.
He sure could have. And there was a lot of chatter that you heard around, and I heard it. And not that not that guys weren't coming out on the record and saying it, but like, he's not necessarily doing what he needs to do on the line. He's, when he's supposed to be staying at home, he's trying to get a sack and everything else like that. So, like, listen, there's great chemistry on this team right now. Last thing I want to do is bring in a guy that's just trying to get sacks and isn't doing all the other stuff. He's a great pass rusher, but they didn't miss him last year. That's for damn sure.
They definitely did not.
You're damn right they didn't. But they do have to replace. I need two veterans and a high draft pick on the defensive line. Period.
Yeah, I also feel like when you're trying to draft, I mean, maybe like you can get a D tackle at the end of the first round, but I feel like if you're trying to get a pass rusher, they're not always like you're reaching at the end of the first. Yeah, I mean, they have their flaws. It's sort of thing.
Yeah, otherwise they'd be a top 5 or a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
like Nolan Smith was undersized.
Yeah, they would have drafted him at 10 if Jalen Carter was there. Oh my God, that would have sent me. Oh my God. No. But yeah,
right,
I mean, yeah, like Sweat's a great pick. Like they got him in the 3rd, 4th round, whatever that was. But it's like, it took time. It took time for him to get to the part where he's actually contributing.
Milton Williams, he had that his 4th year in the league. He had the year this year where it's like, wow, this guy's an above average starter. He's going to get paid, man.
Yep,
he's going to get paid. I think Zach Bond's the one guy that comes back. Everybody else is gone. Maybe Beck
on defense. Yeah,
Slay comes back on one more contract. Gainwell comes back. I know everybody's excited to have Kenny Gainwell back. I think Gainwell comes back. The Eagles.
I did have a change of heart on Kenny Gainwell as the season went on this year, but I'm still not going to be mad if he's gone.
As long as he doesn't come back fat like Corey Clement did after they won the Super Bowl. He so didn't give a shit after that. He came in the next year and it was like, oh man, now I see why you were undrafted, Corey. Jeez.
Hey, man, he's gonna have that 1 year, baby.
Yep, he sure is. All right. By the way, I enjoyed not getting involved in the White House Donald Trump Eagles Super Bowl conversation this week.
I heard that once. I laughed. I was like, good. And then that was it.
Yeah. And I say that because Tim brought up the Joey Bosa, who is a MAGA fan of MAGA. So
I could literally care what anyone's political.
Man, if
you're going to come in and catch passes and catch touchdowns and throw touchdowns and sack the quarterback, I don't care what you do.
If there were guys that didn't want to go to the White House, if there's guys for the Eagles that don't want to go to the White House, don't go to the freaking White House, brother. If there's guys that want to take selfies with Donald Trump and think it's the best thing in the world, then knock yourself out. I don't give a crap.
Yep.
At all. And I don't care about any of the political pundits on like you get the Republicans and you get the media and you get the fans like, oh, I'm out on the Eagles now. Just shut up. Seriously, everybody just shut up. All right. No, honestly, like Delco Steve, I would go to the White House. If I won a championship, I would go to the White House. Whether or not I agree with the politics of Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whoever, I would go to the White House because it's an honor to go to the White House as a team. And if my teammates didn't want to go, and if my teammates didn't want to go, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Snoop Dogg.
So can you
Donald Trump?
So could you go? Okay, so the whole team gets invited and they don't turn it down, but it's like, all right, if you want to go, great. If you don't want to go, don't go.
Right.
All right, and only 6 people want to go. How do you accept it? Isn't that just like an insult?
I mean, well, then the White House they wouldn't accept it. They would say, no, you're not coming with 6 people. I guess my point is that like, just everybody just like shut up. Everybody just shut up. Right? The Eagles never even said they weren't going. Everybody was jumping all over them. Like, oh, fuck the Eagles or whatever. It's like, no, it's a fake story. No one ever said that. The White House didn't even invite them. If they invite them and they don't go, if you're going to be mad and take to social media and say now you're not rooting for the Eagles, you're mad at the Eagles, like that's a you problem, man. Who cares? I saw somebody put out a tweet that said that no Eagles fan likes their team more than the president of the United States. And I didn't comment because I don't care to comment. I'll just say it here briefly. How about I care more about my football team than any president of the United States?
100%.
Right?
Yeah. if you were the president, I would care more about my team than the president.
Yeah. All right.
It's like,
well, there you go. Yeah. So see, like that, just by talking about this, people are turned off. Yeah, but like I literally haven't talked about it at all anywhere this week, and I'm just saying, like, just shut up about it. All right, please. People
it's
are
not
people
that
are
big deal.
God, man.
But like that was like when like the national anthem protest happened. I had a guy who's much older. He's older than you, like so much older than me. Would be like, I think it was Malcolm Jenkins did something during the flag. He's like, I'm never watching the Eagles again. I'm like,
right.
Why? Like you knew he was gonna do something before the game. How about you just don't turn the game on until exactly at kickoff? And guess what? You never see it. It's not that big a deal. It's like it doesn't affect your life at all.
There were a lot of people mad about that.
It's just like it doesn't affect you. It's just watch the football game and forget about it.
All right, so let's end with this. On Friday, and Delco Steve was on with me on Monday on the PHLY show. Was it Monday? I don't even remember now.
Monday.
And yeah, of course it was Monday. So on Friday, I go on live at 8:00. It was like 7:20, and 7:20 Friday morning, and I went into like a coughing fit, and I couldn't stop coughing. And like I was not throwing up, but like I was just like had this mucus, some like water that was coming out of my mouth. And this friggin' place doesn't have any water at all. At all. No water. No water at all. And so I'm drinking a 2-liter orange soda because it's like I need something to drink. I need something to drink. And now I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Now I'm fighting nausea. And then I feel like I'm gonna pass out. And before I know it, I am having a Tony Soprano panic attack where I literally feel like I'm going to die. And I thought I was going to die. I was like, am I having a heart attack? What is going on? And poor Tyler, my producer, he's like, you think you're going to be able to go in the air at 8:00? And it's like 7:40. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm going to die. Like, I'm definitely not going to be on the air at 8:00. I'm like, dude, like, just give me a couple minutes. Like, I'm going to be okay. At one point I told him, I'm like, yo, he's like, do you want me to call somebody? I'm like, yeah, call somebody. And I was like, yeah, call 911. Like, I think I'm going to die. And luckily he didn't call 911. So what I found out was that very few people don't end up in the emergency room for their first time because they think they're dying. So I was able to fight off the urge to actually die, but there you go. So I did not watch the show. So there's Kevin right there. I didn't actually do the show because like now it's 8:20 and I'm just finally being like, all right, I feel like I can go on in 10 minutes. And I'm talking to Ant. Ant's like, don't go on the air. I'm on the air in a half hour. Don't even worry about it. So I had to wait like another hour before I left because I just felt like I was rattled, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. It definitely rattles you.
Holy crap. And then I was fucked up the rest of the day. I had the hangover because once the adrenaline wore off, I felt like I got hit by a bus. So that was something. All right, Delco Steve, again, when you go to shopmando.com, which I know you were just on there a little while ago checking some stuff out, just make sure you use the code MARKS and you get free shipping and an extra $5 off.
Woo!
Like this one right here, it's a deodorant wipes, and this isn't like butt wipes.
Nice.
Man. You can do that, yeah, exactly. 72-hour odor control right here. This is the Mount Fuji scent.
It's a pleasant.
Shopmando.com. It's very pleasant, yes. It's not. Okay. It kind of smells like Axe body spray that you put on.
I was gonna say, is it the mature version of Axe?
It is.
Maybe I'll grow up. Maybe I'll grow up and I'll evolve to the next stage of life.
It's not as blatant as the Axe body spray. All right. Well, listen. Have a good one, man. Have a good weekend. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next weekend or next week, and check me back tomorrow 8 a.m. on PHLY. All right.
Peace.
All right, bye. See you.